They don't knock anymore. Continuation of the man who didn't blink, the visitor who knew her name, and the crawling man. The police reports were never supposed to be connected. Different cities, different victims, different descriptions. One was a silent man with a knife. One was a woman who knew a stranger's name. One was something crawling beneath a porch. To the authorities, they were just unrelated midnight disturbances. But someone else noticed something they didn't. And once that pattern was seen, it couldn't be unseen. Danielle was the first to notice it. Not because of the man at her door, but because of what came after. 2 weeks after the night of the whisper, she was still sleeping with her phone on her chest, screen facing up, waiting for another alert. It came at 2:03 a.m. Motion detected. She didn't breathe as she opened the app. Her porch was empty. No man, no shadow, no movement. But her camera audio was active. At first it sounded like static, then like wind. Then a whisper bled through the speaker. Not loud, not clear, just enough to be heard. Still awake. Her blood turned to ice, because the voice wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from inside her house. Jason discovered the pattern accidentally. He was on an online forum for doorbell camera owners, reading posts from people complaining about false motion alerts, animals, bugs, and software glitches. Then one thread caught his eye. Anyone else getting whispers on their mic with no one on camera? He clicked it. The first post was from a woman named Danielle. Her story was identical to his. A stranger who knew her was awake. A voice that lingered after the body was gone. He messaged her. They compared timestamps. And that's when the first impossible detail appeared. Their motion alerts were happening at the same time. Different states, different houses, same minute. Over and over. 2:03 a.m., 12:47 a.m., 3 a.m. Always staggered by exactly 14 minutes. Like something was moving. From house to house. Olivia didn't want to believe any of it, but she was the one who found the fingerprints. They were not human. Too long. Too thin. Too many joints. They curved along the underside of the porch, pressed deep into the wood as if something had been hanging there, upside down, for hours. When she posted photos of them, Jason saw them immediately. And something in his gut told him the truth before his mind could accept it. These weren't intruders. They weren't people. They were probes. Whatever was out there wasn't breaking in. It was checking. Who was awake? Who was watching? Who could see? The cameras weren't protecting them. The cameras were how it found them. They created a private group chat. Danielle, Jason, Olivia. Every night they left their feeds open, not to feel safe, but to watch each other's houses. At 2:03 a.m., Danielle's porch went dark. Not black, not disconnected, just darker, like something was blocking the lens. Jason saw it. He typed, "Something's at your door." Danielle replied, "I know." Her camera audio turned on by itself, and all three of them heard the same voice, not whispering, not speaking, just breathing, slow, wet, close. Then, "I see you watching." Jason's screen went black, not his camera, his entire phone. When it came back on, his doorbell was recording. Something was standing on his porch. Not the woman, not a man, not anything with a face. It was tall, too tall, bent backward at an angle that would have snapped bones. Its head was tilted sideways, pressed against the lens, and it wasn't blinking. Olivia's camera picked up movement under her porch. Dozens of pale hands, crawling, reaching, testing. like roots growing through wood. The voice spoke again, not through a mic, not through a speaker, through all of them. Now we know who's awake. None of them slept again, because once you're seen, once you're marked, it doesn't need to knock anymore. It already knows where you are, and it is only waiting for you to look away.
They don't knock anymore. Part 2. YouTube horror narration script. There is a moment, right after something sees you, when your brain refuses to accept it. Not because it didn't happen, but because it cannot fit inside reality. That was the moment Danielle, Jason, and Olivia were now trapped inside. None of them logged off. None of them closed their apps, because whatever was on those screens was closer than anything they could see in real life. Jason was the first to speak. His voice was shaking so badly that Olivia could hear it through her phone. I think it's still here. His doorbell camera showed the thing leaning closer, not walking, not stepping, sliding forward, like gravity didn't apply to it the way it should. Its skin wasn't skin. It looked like something stretched too thin over a shape that didn't belong in a human outline. And its eyes, God, its eyes. They were open, wide, unmoving, as if blinking was something it had forgotten. Danielle's porch was silent, too silent. No street noise, no wind, no insects, just the sound of breathing. Coming from the microphone, the same breathing they were all hearing, slow, wet, patient. And then her front doorknob twitched. Olivia whispered, "Danielle, do not open that door." Danielle wasn't touching it, but it was turning anyway, millimeter by millimeter, like something on the other side was testing how much resistance there was. Jason's screen flickered. The thing on his porch straightened, not forward, upward, like it was unfolding. Its joints cracked as it rose until its head scraped the top of the frame. And then it smiled. Not with a mouth, but with a widening tear in its face. "I told you," the voice said, not through the mic, not through the speaker, through the air in Jason's living room. "I'm supposed to be inside." Jason screamed. The camera shook as he dropped his phone. They heard footsteps, not running, backing away. Then a loud, hollow thump as something hit his front door from the outside. Once, twice, not knocking, testing. Olivia's backyard camera came alive. Something was crawling across her grass. Fast, too fast for how wrong its limbs looked. It moved in jerks and bursts, like a broken marionette being yanked forward. Then it disappeared under her porch, where the fingerprints had been. Danielle's front door creaked open, just an inch, enough for darkness to spill through, and a voice whispered, "You left it unlocked." Danielle didn't scream. She didn't move. She stared at her phone as something unseen pushed the door wider. The camera caught nothing, but the microphone picked up breathing now coming from inside her hallway. Jason's feed came back online. His front door was open. The porch was empty. But inside, something was standing in his living room. Tall, bent, watching the camera from behind. Olivia grabbed a kitchen knife. Her camera feed showed hands gripping the underside of the porch, pulling, dragging something up into her floor. The boards creaked, cracked, bowed inward, and then her living room lights flickered. The voice returned, calm, certain, satisfied. We don't need doors anymore. And then, all 3 cameras went dark at the exact same time, because the moment they stopped watching, something else started watching them.